Well, congratulations on your film.
Thank you.
And it's in competition in Cannes
Right.
this year. And how does it feel to have a film in competition?
Well, I think that to be in the competition, I think for this film was very important. And to be chosen about, I think there are 1,800 films that they sent in to Cannes, and to be one of the 20 was really what I felt was more important than anything else. So being in competition, whatever the prize, and you know, Woody Allen said that it was nonsense to compete, art competing with other artists. Yeah, he said that in the beginning of the
Yes,
festival.
yes.
He's fully right, of course. But to be selected, I think, um, 20 films on 1,800 for me was really important. Yeah, so we heard that we were allowed to be here, I think that was for me very important. Yeah.
Right, right. Of course, it's great to be
Yeah,
recognized.
but it is great, and you feel it's very satisfying.
Yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed watching the film yesterday. It really just draw me in. But yesterday at the press conference, there were questions about whether the film or the story like glorified assault, and I know
Assault.
Assault, because this is a woman who kind of like develop an attraction to someone who assaulted her.
Kind of attraction, perhaps. Yeah, attraction is the word, but it might be sexual attraction.
Right, right.
If you look at her eyes, basically, when he stands in front of her dying, then basically you don't see really a love, huh?
Right, but
You
I
see
mean,
a smile.
yeah. So I mean, it was a really complicated relationship.
Sure.
So how do you think? I mean, the character. Do you think that did she wanted to kill him? Like.
Not really, but certainly she wanted to be in control. I mean, she wanted to. I mean, she was. Let's say the movie starts with the moment that she is not in control, isn't it? She's just. The film starts when she was raped, in
Right.
fact, and which is certainly not something you control. I mean, and I think basically progressive in the movie. I think she maneuvers herself in a situation where she is even when she is hit, and basically when this dangerous game starts, isn't it? It's pretty dangerous. She still has control. So
Right.
I think it's really her changing tables
Right.
but I don't think that the movie says that exactly. I didn't want to exactly say this. These are the steps that you make to accept or whatever this, let's say, call it sadomasochistic relationship. I mean, there are elements given in the movie to make you think, isn't it? You have had in the movie a very long introduction about what happened to her when she was 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and how she was basically ultimately victimized there the rest of her life.
Right.
And so that can happen. You, of course, but the novel, neither the film, connect these things.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt that it was interesting to leave that to the audience. And normally, when you compare it to Black Book, where everything is clear, everything is connected, and you go from one to the other, it's all understandable. Here, I felt that we should and I based that on the book. It is written that way. That basically this information is given to you, to the audience, to the reader or the audience that's looking at the movie, and other information is given to you. And it's your possibility, it's your freedom to invent, let's say, to connect these things, yes or no. Mm-hmm. And I felt that the whole movie does that a little bit.
Right.
That you're not saying it's this or that, and this is connected to that. That the movie, probably for the first time in my life, that I really leave gaps.
Right.
By purpose.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because but also because he wrote it that way, you
Right.
know. I saw that he did that, and with my American scriptwriter, we realized that how Philip had done that, and we decided that we should not be thinking that we would know better and explain. We felt that we should do what Philip did. He doesn't explain. He tells you, he gives you the information that is perhaps contradictory to other information, and leaves it basically to the reader to make up their mind.
Right.
So that was for me the mystery and a very interesting side. I mean, the moment you start to psychoanalyze her behavior, it becomes banal. Then it's like this. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So okay, it banalizes everything. But if you open it up to the audience, basically, and not trying to, of course, you should not moralize in any way. I think in art you should not moralize at all. I think art should have no morals. I think. I mean, you can disagree, and people disagree about it. I don't think so. Art should be that thing in life that tells you something that might be insulting, that might be offending, that might be terrible, that might be wonderful, might be beautiful, might make you laugh or cry, but it should not give you any indication this morality is superior or is anyhow important.
Yeah, that's very true. But yesterday you also talked about how it was hard to cast the female lead,
Right.
which I find kind of contradicting because I feel like in Hollywood they're always complaining that there's not enough, female
Well,
good
nobody-
female roles.
But basically, you know, and I told it yesterday, I think also, we wanted to make this as a American movie, and the producer worked with Polanski and Brian De Palma, Cronenberg, and basically now he wanted to work with me, all thinking that we would make all these movies that he did, these international movies that he did are in English. I thought it would be an English movie and that we would do it in. I had an American scriptwriter I took, basically to situate it in Chicago or Boston, and make it to an American movie with American stars. Well, nobody wanted to do it. When the script was done, nobody wanted to touch it. So, I mean, actresses of A level. I mean, but not one, but 5 or 6 that we tried, and then decided that we. Then Said said to me, he said, "Well, this doesn't work. They don't accept that. It's not a vengeance movie. If it would have been a vengeance movie, Americans might have liked it. She gets raped, she finds out, bang. That's not the movie, eh? That's different. This." And it was not liked. It
Right.
was basically, we got a no, absolutely not. so ultimately we decided, as I said, Said said, what are we doing? We should go back to Paris. Basically, we should do it in French. And knowing, of course, that Isabelle wanted to do it in the first place, from the very beginning. I mean, Isabelle was with this project before I was there. She talked to Dijon, she talked to Said, but we thought. We knew better that we wanted to make an American movie, but I mean, yeah, that didn't work. So now, in retrospect,
Yes.
it is so that Isabelle protects the movie, because she is so even in her harshness and directness, isn't it? You sympathize with her in a certain way. Perhaps you don't identify completely with her, or certainly often not, I think, but you also accept her, and I think that's Isabelle Huppert. And I think there is, in retrospect, I should never have thought about anybody else than Isabelle Huppert. I should have said from the beginning, well, this has to be French with Isabelle Huppert.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I didn't. And we didn't do that. We had to make a mistake. We had to. We lost a couple of months, and then thank God, we arrived back in Paris, and we got Isabelle.
Right.
But I think she's really Isabelle keeps this all together.
Right. And she delivers a wonderful,
Yeah,
beautiful
but I mean,
performance.
and I think she, as I said yesterday, I think. She understands the character better than I.
So what did
She went sometimes into scenes basically that I was like this, I was astonished, and of course it was always great.
Actually, I just realized that there's a clock counting down, so I gotta ask you my last question about yesterday. You also talked about lack of kind of like original scripts in
Los Angeles.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's one of my sentiments as well. I feel like there are just way too many superhero movies.
Right.
So then like how do you go about?
Well, basically I didn't make movies. I mean, for a couple of years I did some television in Holland, but I couldn't find anything that interested me. I mean, that was for me innovative. I cannot do something that's already there. Not if I did it or others, but I say I'm bored. It has to be for me something I don't know, something that is dangerous, adventurous, and step in and jump into the adventure and find out. Perhaps you fail, perhaps not.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, I fully agree. But I could not find anything in, and this novel that Said sent me was a gift to God.
Right. Thank you so much for the film. I thought
Yeah. Okay, it's rolling.
Okay, congratulations on the film. I watched.
Thank you.
I prefer if you're
And
on the back
approval,
of the
right.
chair.
Oh,
It's
back of the
better
chair.
for me.
Oh,
Voilà.
oh,
Sorry.
oh,
Voilà.
okay. Okay.
That's perfect. You fit in.
I'm okay. All right. Anyway, I watched the film yesterday. Congratulations on a wonderful performance.
Thank you.
So, my first question is, how does it feel to have a film in competition here at Cannes?
Oh, it feels great to be here with a film with Paul Verhoeven. It's really wonderful for us because working with him was such a great experience.
Right.
He's such a great director, such a wonderful man. I mean, everything was there to make it a unique experience.
Right. And you definitely brought a lot to the role. But I wanted to ask you first, like, what about the story particular that really interested you?
It's a very complex and complete character at the same time, and it's quite difficult to define her. She's not a dimension character. She's so many women, including so many women you have in yourself, within yourself, that you don't necessarily give access to because it's something you cannot really confess about the most obscure desire that you can have within yourself, and also I think that the movie is of course naturalistic and realistic, but it can also be taken almost like a tale, and it's the door open in the best sense of the word to fantasies and to something which is, it belongs to her. It's not a general statement about women in general, but it makes you very free because it makes you giving the possibility to give access to the most obscure part of your inner psyche.
Yeah, I mean, totally. I totally agree because when I was watching the movie, I couldn't decide if I liked her or disliked her because then she would do something. I'm like, why did she do that?
Yeah, because she and nothing is predictable
Yeah.
in what she does, and nothing is explainable. So and surely Verhoeven never gives a explanation. But looking at the film for the second time last night, I thought, yes, he doesn't give any explanations. But at the end of the day, I think the film is quite clear about how, if each individual pull threads, between him and his past, his family, his social and professional environment, and so on one side, yes, it's not clear, but on the other side, for me, it's very clear because the movie it's also very universal, very with a lot of depth, and he says so many things about what it means to be a mother, what it means to be a daughter, what it means to be the daughter of your mother, what it means to be the daughter of your father, of course, not a usual father, but still. So many, and with anything being really underlined, because there is such a great amount of irony in his manner, that's really the Paul Verhoeven input, such a great insolence.
And yesterday at the press conference, I know that some people ask questions about whether or not you feel that this film kind of glorified assault because she was assaulted and she kind of had this kind of strange attraction. And I know that you said that it should be treated like a fantasy, but I think it's also about the transfer of power because she took that power away from him. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Yes, it's also the story about someone who she comes from the status of object to the status of subject, and something happens to her. She's being confronted to it, and instead of being controlled by what happens to her, she takes the control. But she does it in also. But I think what's really interesting about the film is that you are really the witness over how things occur to her and how she's thinking about what she's going to do, without anything predictable, without anything. She's not of course, yes, let's say she's a woman of power because she runs this company, but, so many women run this company, and I think that's, she doesn't really behave as someone who wants to conquer the world, It's more, I think she learns what she is and who she is as she goes through all these events, as many of us, actually. I mean, we are not so sure what we do. People think we tend to be reduced or not reduced, the contrary of reduced to our caricature, you know. So some people are powerful. Let's say you are a well-known actress, so you are powerful. You are a well-known director. You are well, but within yourself, you don't feel like this, you know. You still have doubts. You don't exactly know who you are. It's not like you wake up every morning having all this belief and knowledge about who you are. And it's exactly what it is, you know, what Verhoeven gives access to
Right.
in the film.
And what was it like working with Paul?
It was great because he's so attentive, he's so delicate, quite maybe unexpectedly, you know, given all those, you know, physical scenes. But he's so smart. He's so in tune with his actors. I think the whole cast, you know, had the same feeling about him, and he really wanted to create a very strong relationship with the team. I mean, that was his first French film, and he speaks quite good French, and he never spoke English. He always wanted to create this strong relationship.
Mm-hmm. And he talked about how when they were first trying to cast the role, they had a whole hard time doing it in the U.S. And I thought it was kind of contradictory because in the U.S. they're always saying that there's not enough like good roles for women. So would you say that to those actors who turn it down that you have to kind of sometimes just, I guess, accept roles that push the boundaries and not afraid to?
I don't want to tell them anything because I'm happy that I'm doing the film. So. I'm really happy with their
So thank you for turning
down the road. Let's have them turning down all the roles, all the good roles,
but
and
maybe
give
not
them to me.
not roles, but just about films that has a. I feel like maybe in the U.S. they don't really quite know how to read into the story, and
Well, we should talk to them, whoever it was. I don't even know who exactly he was talking about, but yes, it's interesting to try to understand why some people could react with suspicion, because that's all what it is about, you know, about that story. I was never in suspicion, also because it's also a story about someone who is not afraid. So I wasn't afraid of, but someone who is not afraid, you know. That's the one of the main definition of this character. She's not afraid. She has a certain amount of courage. She's never afraid of anything.
right. Okay, thank you for your time. My time is up. I see that.